Let's discuss the need for overloading binary operator with friends. Okay, so when you know that you can overload the operator, what do? We use the syntax of the operator, and also we just try to increase the semantics of the operator. Got it? So when you say binary operator, if it is addition operator, you must have two operands, isn't it? Okay, now here in this what we are going to discuss uh, is it necessary to overload the binary operator with friends? Okay, so we will find out the reason for using the friend functions for overloading binary operators or for overloading operators. Okay, so because the friend function is very helpful in overloading the operators. Okay, because there is a rule in the overloading operator or invoking the overloading operator function. What is the rule? In overloading of binary operators, the left hand operand is used to invoke the operator function. Whereas the right hand operand is passed as an argument. Okay. So if you look into this, now overloading binary operator, this is the program we had discussed earlier. So this plus symbol is basically a overloaded operator here. Okay. So now here in this left hand side we have one operator called obj4. So overloading object 4 will be an object that invokes the overloaded operator. Overloading object 5 will be passed as an argument. That is what the rule says. In overloading of binary operator, the left hand operand is used to invoke the operator function, and right hand operand is passed as an argument. Okay, so and also you can see with this representation where we find that this is the function over here, and these are the contents of the object. So when I say C3 is equal to C1 plus C2, okay, so C1 will be an object that is invoking this operator function, and C2, the right hand operand, will be a function, will be an object which is passed as an argument. Here. So through this, whatever comes in, that will be taken into the respective x and y, and similarly through this, whatever that comes in, that will be taken into the respective x and y. Okay, so that's how basically we do it. But here another requirement, if you look into it, what is that here is the left hand operand must be an object, and right hand also should be an object, because left hand it's going to be an object that invokes the overloading function, isn't it? Similarly, the right hand also is an object that's going to be passed as an argument. But what if I have a case where in the left hand operand, instead of object, I have some numbers or I have some other detail to be used? In such cases, that we cannot do it directly with a simple binary operator overloading. So in such cases, what we can do, we can take the help of the friend functions. Okay, so the friend functions will help us to implement this requirement. Okay, let's see that. So I've given the program here. It is overloading binary operator using friend functions. Okay, first I'll tell you the function of this program. The operation of this program is basically a scalar multiplication. Scalar multiplication means what? a matrix multiplication or scalar multiplication, we can say that. So any number if you take, probably for an example, you are taking a number, 3, okay, and let's say you have an array, like this, okay. Then you want to multiply this number 3 with the element of an array, and also let us fill this array with the value 1 3 5 and 2, okay. Then what would be the result in the scalar multiplication? 3 into 1 is 3, and 3 3s are 9, 3 5s are 15, and 3 2s are 6, okay. So like this the scalar multiplication is performed. So for this reason only the program is also written here to implement this requirement, okay. That's called scalar multiplication. Okay, what else you need? First you need an array, isn't it? So we declare a constant here to specify the size of an array, So with this, now we have specified the size of an array as 3. Then scalar multiplication is the class name that we are given here. After that, an array is used here, and the array is of size the constant value 3. That's given here. Okay. Then as you know, in order to access the array, either for reading or writing, what do? We use a for loop, isn't it? That's called traversing. So in order to traverse an array, we use a for loop over here. Okay. So scalar multiplication, what it will do? It will try to load the values into the arrays. Okay. So you can see that for I is equal to 0, I is less than size, and I plus plus. So what we have done here, in order to load the values onto an array, so whatever the I is going to be the new value that's going to be generated here. So what we'll do, so we will add 1 to it, and that will be storing onto the array of I location. So if I is 0, then will be array of 0. So I with 0 means this will be 0. So 0 plus 1, 1. So 1 value will be loaded to array of 1. Array of 0. So that will be like this 1. Then what do we have? Okay. Some friend functions defined here. That we will see that how it's going to come up. Okay. So inside public we have one function declarations here. Okay. It's a scalar multiplication function. Okay. And what is this basically, this function? It is a constructor. It's a constructor. So when an object is created itself, this array elements will be loaded onto the requirement in the respective elements. Okay. Next we look into it. What is called public. So in public, what do we know? We have a few more prototypes over here, but its function definition is written in the next page. Let's see that. So since we are using a multiplication, we are overloading the multiplication operator. Okay. So operator is a construct, then multiplication operator, and what are the requirements here? I'm going to specify 2 requirements. One first requirement is I am having number in the left hand side and array on the right hand side. Other requirement is I am having array on the left hand side, and the number on the right hand side. That's how basically it comes. So what we are doing here is, first we are writing the requirement for the first one. Okay. No, the second one we'll take. We'll take the second one. So this requirement we are going to do it first. So in the first position, what do you have? You have an array. Where is the array? Array will be in object, isn't it? So what we do? we pass an object as an argument here. How? By specifying class name and declaring a variable class name, a variable for a class name object s1. Then next, on the right hand side, what you have? You have an integer number. Integer number that's going to be passed here. So integer a it's written here. And also this function will return an object. So returning object also will have what? The array. Returning object also will have an array. So we have the array. In order to return an object, we have one object called temp. Okay. You see that what it's doing? It accessing every element of an array. Okay, as it accesses every element of an array, and every element of an array of the incoming object, okay, was multiplied with the a value. Multiplied with the a value. What is a value? A value also that what we are giving from here. What we are giving from here. So here you have an array and here you have an a, and these two gets multiplied. And when I is 0, array of 0 of s1 will be multiplied with the constant value a, and that will be loaded onto the another object array of 0. That's a temporary object array of 0. This operation will continue until all the elements of an array is accessed and it's multiplied, and value will be returned as an object, and inside an object we are going to collect our product variable or product array. Okay, that is first implementation. And the second one is to implement this requirement, where we have the integer at the first position and the array at the second position. At the integer as a left hand operand and the array as a right hand side operand. Okay, so now here you can see that the convention is different here. So in this setup I use the integer number in the first argument, and whereas the object where we have an array is as a second argument. Here also we use the object called temp, and which is basically of class type Scalar Multiplication. And again we are using a for loop to access every element of an array, and that will be multiplied with b. So b will be multiplied with an array, and the result will be loaded here on the temp dot array of I, and the result finally is going to be written in the form of an object. So when it comes out, it will comes as an object. Then we can separate it by using the functions. And also then what we do, we have a functions. Okay, we have a functions over here. What function? Print function is declared here. This is only the, what to say, this is only a overloading function. Now this is another member function. Member function is called print. We want to display the values of the array element, right? Again what do? We just know we are not passed any argument here. We just call the for loop, and using the for loop we'll access every element. So with the tab space we know what to do. We enter the array values, or we print the array values on the screen. Understand? And now in order to now implement our requirement, what is our requirement? The left hand side operand need not to be an object. It can be of anything. So that is possible only in the case when we declare this to be a friend function. That is why you can see that in the public part of the program, the line number 14 and 15, where the operator overloading functions are declared to be a friend. Declared to be a friend. So when we do this, then we will be able to implement the actual requirement. Now you see that such a big program we have written, but you see the main program. Main program is very simple, where we declare two objects for the scalar multiplication called x and y. Now you see that I know the requirement of the friend function. I am not calling here by the name, but what I do, just do it here. I just use one of the object as a container. So x, I am using it as a container because that's going to be returned from the scalar multiplication. And now 2, isn't it? 2 is in the left hand side, and that's going to be multiplied with x. So it's going to be multiplied with x. What is x? X is an object. X is an object. Okay. So now in this case, this object is going to be multiplied here. Where you have the this one here, we look into it. So we are going to make use of this particular function. This will make use of this particular function, and whatever the values that's come in, that will be captured through this x object. Here it's going to x is going again, the whatever that comes, the temp whatever it comes in, that will be given back to this x, and x will have the product. Okay, inside the x there will be an array, that only we are going to make use. Then this requirement where left hand side you have an object and right hand side you have an integer number. So where is that requirement here? If you look into it, we will be having it in a different representation. So let's see that here. So this will take from here, this argument, because the left hand side you have an array and right hand side you have a number. So when this is passed here, it will do the necessary manipulations, and after doing the manipulations, it will try to give you the result. Okay, so from here the result will come, the result will be loaded into y. Okay, so inside x and y you will be having a array. Inside x and y there will be an array. So, and also there will be a member functions through which we can access your class. Okay, then what we do, we try to print the values of x. So that will call this member function. X dot print will call this member function. Here the array values will be declared over here, and here y value, y will be array of y value will be declared here. Okay, so like this it will be printed on the screen. So scalar multiplication, x comma y, it uses the constructor, and constructor is there in the previous slide. So that will be invoked with some preloaded values, and based on these things we are going to calculate it, and we are going to get the things done on the screen. Okay, now here, so when I run the program, now if you look at the constructor will be loaded with what value? What are the array value we are going to get from the constructor? So this will have what? 3 elements, and first element will be loaded with the value 1, and second element will be loaded with the value 1 plus 1, 2, and third element will be loaded with the value 2 plus 1, 3. Okay, then the result will be 2 into x, isn't it? So 2 into x means what? 2, and 2 is 4, and 3 into 2 is 6 you should get. On the other side, for next function, what will be the result here? It's a 3, right? So 1 into 3, 3, and 3 into 2 is 6, and 3 into 3 is 9. These are the results that we are supposed to get as an output. Got it? So now if you compare this implementation with the previous implementation, here you can see that we are allowed to use integers in the either on the left hand side or on the right hand side. Anywhere we can use the integers, or any other parameter also can be used, because by using the frame functions. Okay, now let's run this program and check it out how it's going to perform. Okay, so here we have the program over here. So that when you run the program, we find that you can see that same details are there, and we are going to take the result over here. And if you want to know what I'll do, I'll just add one more statement here. What we can do is, as we take the value, okay, let it be, no problem. We'll just run the program first. Okay, so as you run the program, we'll find that scalar multiplication result must appear here. because we are passing 2 into x here and we are passing 3 into x, isn't it? So the array is loaded and multiplied here. So first array is multiplied with the 2, second array is multiplied with 3. So 1 into 2, 2 into 2 is 4, and 2 into 3 is 6. 1 into 3 is 3, 2 into 3 is 6, and 3 into 3 is 9. Understand? So this is just illustration of implementation of friend functions to avoid using object as an argument here. Okay. Hope you understood. Thank you.